Welcome everyone to Park Studio, a brand new coaster simulation builder game. Well, define yourself at the end of the video, but this is a brand new alpha. The demo is available on Steam right now, but the dev was so kind to give me a key for this game to review. And honestly, I can't really tell you how much I was craving to finally get into it and have a look what's going on. This is based on Unreal Engine 5, so it is a completely new game based on the brand new engine that is currently delivering on so many areas. So with that obviously comes the insane graphics and also some weather effects and stuff like that, but we shouldn't, look too much into it right now. Let's talk about the fact that this whole thing comes with an entirely fledged out node-based or kind of spline-based, node-based coaster editor, which I'm terrible at, but we will still build a coaster nevertheless, and it's gonna turn out somewhat okay-ish enough to have a look how this game may be in the future. Because, well, let's get that straight at the very beginning. This is a very early alpha. There's no way of hiding that, there's just a couple of little things in this game. There's like the coaster builder you've seen at the beginning, me laying out some of the path. In the background you can see the tutorial, because legit you can only play the tutorial and then you basically can play in the free over here. Now, I found this whole coaster builder to be a lot more complicated than what Planet Coaster does, but then again you have so much more control over what you're doing, and realistically, if there's someone with skill and not me, you can build some fantastic stuff in here already in this very early stage of the game. It's been very stable for me, so no crashes or anything. A couple of bugs, as you can see, some of the track pieces disappearing here and there. There are some quirks in this game I want to quickly go over that I really hope being fixed relatively soon, because these for me already have to go in a very early game version like that. So just a couple of things, and I will also write them down so the dev has the feedback as well, not only in the video but also as a written form. So one thing that really annoyed me was that I couldn't escape menus by pressing escape whatsoever. So you always had to either right click, or if you are in a menu you had to basically click leave or escape the menu. So the escape key wasn't really working too often as a key dedicated to exiting this. Then there is no copy paste option in this game whatsoever. You're going to see some building in a couple minutes, so we have also a building system in here, which is great. You have a grouping option, you have multi-select and all these kind of things. That is great. You even have undo and redo, which is also pretty damn good. I feel like it's so cool to see that the Planet games have established this as a, well, must-have feature in games. So you've seen that in Prehistoric Kingdom, you've seen that in here. So a lot of these indie developers and new developers who build a building game will have this embedded, because the Planet game had such a huge impact on the communities, which I find a very good sign, and I really do hope that some other A+ titles or AA, whatever, AAA titles will include that too, because it is just such a help for building games and such a reduction in frustration. But speaking of frustration, the building process of this coaster is sped up by a lot, guys. So it's not been that fluid as you can see it on screen. It's been rather complicated. You can see every single element you're putting in, so every node you're editing, you can edit. However, you're not only editing the very node, you're also editing all the other elements that basically connect to this thing, because the whole coaster keeps on going. And yeah, it's been like, there's been some fixing going on later on in this video, and also you'll see the final version of the coaster is a lot better than what you see. But it took me some good 3 to 4 hours to just build that coaster alone in total, which already is, well, you'll see the layout in the end and then you judge yourself, but it's 4 hours for a layout that is still pretty much worse than whatever I've done in Planet Coaster in half an hour. So that is something really that needs to be tackled, maybe with some more beginner-friendly elements. Like there are already preset elements. You can even see this little toggle to the bottom left of your screen. There is elements as a part, and somewhere in the tutorial there was a point how to edit those into it. However, I just wanted to test it myself, and I think these elements could be a little bit of a help, but I find it a lot more easy or better. I would love to have a smoothing option for several nodes. You can, however, multi-select some nodes, and you will have seen this already throughout this time lapse. But you cannot then edit, for example, the banking together with all of those. And what I also figured is once you have filled in the whole loop of the coaster, there's no option to delete a piece actually again. It will always delete the node, but it's not going to delete the piece, which effectively will always keep your coaster being connected to the main station, which eventually is going to lead to a little bit of a disaster in where the tracks go. But hey, these are like very early on issues I can totally deal with. It's totally fine. But again, as I said, some productivity killers, such as like copy paste and so on, do have to make it in here. And I think my biggest complaint of the entire experience so far has been the rather ridiculous way of choosing elements. Like really, I had such a hard time clicking on stuff. Like, it is a game with mouse and keyboard, so shouldn't that be the most important thing of all? I'm not sure if that's anything to do with Unreal Engine. I've seen there is some option in the menu that helped to increase the radius of a piece where I can click it, like the hitbox of it. It didn't really change too much for me. It made it slightly better, but overall the experience was very frustrating in a way that I was misclicking so many things. But again, I just wanted to point these things out as a help. You know, it's not meant to bash anyone or so, because it's so early on. You just need people now to play the game in order to troubleshoot these things. But other than that, I do like the amount of pieces that we already have in the game. I do like the amount of customizability already, some foliage pieces and stuff like that. So considering what the Planet Coaster Alpha brought to the table, we're really not that far off when it comes to the building part and the coaster part. You know, specifically the coaster part that, if we look back at the Planet Coaster Alpha, didn't even have coasters. However, let's talk about the other side of the medal while we are seeing the build going on. Like, I've just built like a pretty simple warehouse where the coaster is dipping in. Like, nothing crazy. I just wanted to test the systems, you know, just trying to build a couple of very standardized things, because again, since there is no copy paste feature, building on an angle also would have been, oh my god, it would have been so hard, because like there is an auto stacking feature which works super well. If you hold down control, the piece will search itself a connecting point, which is not like the stacking you know from other games. This is like a flexible system that always tries to find the correct connection to the piece you had, as you can see over here. That works pretty nice. But yeah, other than that, we have to talk about the other side of the medal. If you guys know No Limits 2, you know this is a pretty damn good coaster simulator with quite some customization options. But it's not a simulation or a game, if you will. It's a coaster designer. And at the moment, this over here looks pretty much like a coaster designer. Just a bit more beginner friendly, if you ask me, and looking better than No Limits. So in this early stage, there's literally nothing I can say about the game element of this whole thing. You can build, it's a sandbox, it's great, but there's nothing I can say about people. I've not seen any kind of concept art or whatever, how people shall look. I've not seen if there's going to be any type of excuse me, management involved. So yeah, I'm a little bit on hesitant in that sense, because I can't judge it. I can't judge it in a positive or negative way, because it's legit not in here. So from what I can see, it's already a pretty damn good coaster designer, which was a lot of fun to play with. Just not gonna lie, it's been a lot of fun, and it again showed me how much I'm missing my coasters. My god, friends, I really do miss building coasters and stuff like that. I need this Planet Coaster 2 too, relatively soon. Planet Coaster 2? Whatever. Yeah, but honestly, it's always good to see some competition, and I really wish the developers all the best and all the strengths and pieces and resources in the world to to build something exciting, because competition always is good. So what we've seen back in the day with Planet Coaster was obviously the fall of the Roller Coaster Tycoon brand with this game that shall not be named. They tried to release one day before Planet Coaster. That I just never forget this weird act of Atari. But hey, this is not our topic. But remember back then it was good to have competition in form of Planet Coaster. And I'm not saying that per se Planet Coaster 2 will be a thing that will be a fall or anything. I'm just saying, like, it always helps to have competition in order to, you know, push the development in general and borrow ideas from one to the other. And you can see already some things in here obviously borrowed from the Planet games, so why not the other way around as well? So yeah, I'm very, very happy with how it all turned out. You can see this is, by the way, what I meant. I was fixing a lot of these areas now. Once I got the hang of it, it turned out to be a little bit more easy to fix certain things, but it still looks kind of shabby. So at some point I was like, okay, I'm just going to fix the worst parts of it just to be able to have a kind of decent POV, and that's about it. I think with another hour of time I would be able to make like one very okay-ish coaster. The layout per se isn't even the worst part of it. It's just like really the banking and smoothing and stuff like that. But hey, maybe I'm even missing some tools that are already in. But I feel like this has been a good experience, and hopefully the devs are watching and can take away as much as possible from it, because I really did enjoy building it. But I think you guys are hesitant, you can't wait, let's put it that way, to see how that looks in game. So what shall I say? Let's jump over into a real-time part, and also there's a POV hidden for you. Alright, so here we are in the game, and as you can tell, this is the build I have done. I've talked about this enough in the time-lapse, but you guys presumably wanted to see that in game. Now, it was a lot of fun building this coaster, but then again, it was super tricky, and also the performance is already at like 26 FPS or so, just with these couple of things in the park over here. So yeah, optimization and stuff obviously at this stage isn't the point. The layout is crappy, I talked about that, but yeah, just to show you a couple of things around, I would just quickly jump in and say this is how the coaster looks. I mean, you've seen all the things in time-lapse and how finicky it is and like all these things. Like if we want to go, for example, to fix this little bit over here, just to show you, this is how you go and edit the different splines, the different nodes if you want to. And like there's a couple of things you can do, and you can see you're changing basically the related nodes within, and then you can also you know, try to move it into a position. But in this 3D space, sometimes it works out. Like this was kind of okay now, but most of the times you're destroying quite a bit compared to what you can do. And also there are a couple of other things that like I would need to fix. As you can tell, the shaping and stuff is already good, but what is really good, and this is why we're going, well, the coaster is going to be over here. You can see it's going up here. The movement stuff looks really good. Like there's, it's already functioning quite well, as you can tell. Look at that, really nice. But where I want to go is actually inside of this area here. This is the real deal. This is inside of a house, and the quality of this, like the graphics, is just like this. Almost looks real thanks to Unreal Engine, and it just completely caught my attention. I mean, just look at it when the coaster is going through now. This is looking so cool. And there you go, coaster goes out, and the lighting and stuff all looks so cool. But let's have a look if we can. Oops, there you go, a little lag. If we can catch the coaster and have a little on ride, because that's kind of tricky one. We have to go here and see if the coaster comes by. It just zooms in, and then I want to sit in the front. Did I manage to? Nope, I didn't. Okay, we're gonna catch this next time around. There we go. We are in the front row of the coaster. Let's have a look if we can have a smooth ride this time around. Like, well, kind of smooth. Like the track isn't smooth at all, but the game kind of kept freezing and so on during the last attempt. So hopefully this time it works a bit better. But yeah, you can see it's actually decent. Then again, there is not really that much that could make it off. Like the camera movement is super smoothed out, so all these jaggy edges over here don't really appear to be that jaggy, but trust me, they are. A couple of things fantastically fine over here, like with the lighting and stuff. That just looks so cool. And then if we go over here, a bit of airtime hill, that also works kind of okay. And then around that tree, way too sharp, but whatever. It was just for testing reasons, and that was one lap already of this wonderful coaster. Surely we would go one more, but oops, that was the wrong button, by the way. I just wanted to hit E instead. Resume the game, there you go, and draw a little verdict from my favorite position. This is what I had in mind for the build, which is over here. So yeah, apparently this has been quite fun, but it is super early on. The potential is there. We have to see how that works with performance and stuff like that. There's a lot that has to happen. But seeing a coaster game in Unreal Engine and seeing how this could look like is absolutely fantastic. But again, I want to really stress the fact this is a project very early in its beginnings, not a huge team behind or anything. So you know, let's focus on it. Let's have a look. I'm in the Discord with the creator and some other content creators and stuff like that. So I'm really here to focus on that, and I'm really putting a lot of effort into checking out what is what's coming in the future. But I feel like this game, setting in the Unreal Engine, is a very welcome addition, and it's a little bit more beginner friendly than No Limits 2, for example, and it just does look better as well. So, well, there is a chance, but not really that much more to say while we see the coaster go past in the back. And doesn't that already satisfy our needs if the coaster was just a little better than what I did over here? But anyhow, I really hope you guys enjoyed this little first look of Park Studio. I'm looking forward to doing more of this in the future once there are some significant updates of this game, specifically copy paste, as I've talked about. But yeah, so that's that. I hope you guys had a blast. I know I had, and I want to see you in the next one. Until then, have a good one and goodbye.